I want to talk about the four major harms to black people in America throughout history, and there's a lot more than just the four, but I won't concentrate on four. So, first was slavery. The majority, the major issue was the lack of control, the individual control. That's what makes slavery so bad. The individual does not have control over their lives. They did not have the liberty to control their own lives. They were not able to work where they wanted to work. They were not able to earn the living and get the fruits of their own labor from their work. They were not able to do the things they wanted to marry, to have children, to have a family, to control their own lives. That's the issue with slavery. So horrible situation. Second, from the 1860s, when our nation freed the slaves, to the 1960s, when the civil rights movement hit. The black population was treated as second-class citizens. Really bad, but to a large degree, the government left them alone. Still a lot of discrimination, but for these 100 years, they advanced significantly. They really progressed upward. A lot more ethical, moral standards as they grew in America. The earnings increased significantly. Their education increased significantly. They created stable families at 80% plus percentage, and that really helped them out. But that was despite the discrimination, despite the second-class citizens. So they thrived despite some of the things that held them back. The second-class citizenship really harmed them. Then they went through the civil rights movement, and that helped tremendously. But at the same time, it started the next major problem. And the increase in advancements were The increase in advancements were due to mostly being left alone by the government, even with the well-known structural disadvantages. Then the third and fourth major harms to the black community was the public school system and the welfare state. The public school system, they both advanced significantly in the 1960s. So let's go on it. The public school system became more secular, got rid of the prayer in school, and just started becoming more anti-American at that point, and giving anti-American, anti-free enterprise, anti-liberty into many areas of education, and it's only progressed in that way. Black people had a very hard time overcoming the tax for the education tax, and then because you still had to pay it if you did not send your child to public schools, and then so they sent their children to public schools, and they were failing them. They did not get the education. It was very difficult for them to thrive without a good education, because the policies that the public school system has really cause them to fail to a large degree. The welfare state entrapped a large percentage of the black people. On average, major caveat here, on average, as a percentage, black Americans earned less, thus qualified for assistance more. So a greater percentage of black people qualified for assistance compared to the white population. So that did tremendous amount of damage by having more people on welfare. The welfare system was designed to entrap them into poverty, to break up black families, or any family, but black people being the majority, or a higher percentage, really harmed the black community. To qualify for assistance, a person had to stay below a certain income level. Black people purposely stayed below that income level to stay in the programs. They did not want to give up the benefits, so they stayed under a certain income level, and that really harmed them. The household income, and again, by percentages, on average, I want to keep on stressing that. The household income was measured to qualify for assistance. Therefore, many black moms did not marry or had the father of their children not live in the home. Highly damaging, very highly damaging. So the two-parent household percentage fell dramatically from the 80s all the way down to probably the 20s in some neighborhoods. The percentage of single mom homes increased significantly. The greatest factor in a child's thriving is having two parents in the home. That is so important. The statistics are overwhelming on this matter. And the black population had a much lower. The white population had a lower. It decreased as well during this time period, but the black population really took a nosedive in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and the like. Welfare policies also group welfare recipients together in large, tightly packed neighborhoods. So we didn't just have them spread out among all the population. They really packed them together. With less than 10% of fathers, violence increased. So you have large neighborhoods packed tightly together, mostly descendants of slaves, and then you take the fathers away. Well, violence is going to increase. Fathers is what decreases violence. It always has. So that is a undeniable statistics. The black population, specifically inner city, mostly the descendants of slaves, black people, had a crime rate 5 to 10 times greater. Crime rate 5 to 10 times greater than the white people in the suburbs. And those white people in the suburbs had over 80% of fathers in the home. So highly significant difference. So that's how the welfare system did so much harm. So the public school system, the welfare system, took over from the bad parts of the hit they took from the slavery, hit they took from second-class citizens, then now the hit they take from the public school system, not teaching them, making sure they go through the education system, 12, 13 years of it, and coming out very, very uneducated, not up to grade level to a high degree, at least by percentage rates. So I just want to keep on discussing percentage rates. So when you have neighborhoods not so tightly packed together, 80% fathers, the violence is significantly less. I mean, we're talking 10 times higher in when you have a 10% fatherhood rate versus 80% fatherhood rate. So black people are very, very disadvantaged on that. So I want to switch to a competitive school board, so they're not trapped in failing schools. And I want to go to a competitive charity system, so welfare is not being harmful to the black population, being harmful to everybody. So I have a structured system. It's funded. People are mandated to donate. So it's not exactly a donation, it is a required contribution. But we have a structure. But the biggest thing is as charities, and they can use subjective determination by the individual subjective determination. And people do not have to give to a failing system. The money's not, if somebody has a failing system within the charity system, people don't have to contribute to that. They're going to have less money. They can contribute to the systems that have, because there'll be many, many dozens of systems that people can try to go into for the help. First, they have to ask for help. They cannot demand the help. That is so overwhelmingly important. The same thing with education. They cannot demand to be in the school. It's a two-sided agreement. One of the worst parts of the public school system is they have to take every child. No, they need to be able to expel a child and not let them come back into the system. And then if you have a dozen systems, a dozen different competitive public school systems, or competitive school boards, not public school systems, but a dozen different one's going to take them, but the other ones, they don't have to. They can get rid of troublemakers if need be. And the lack of getting rid of troublemakers is a major problem, and that harms the black population significantly higher, at a higher rate than the white population. So let's keep on going. A lot more to be seen at Haley2024.org. Until the next video.